From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Our top story, not guilty pleas for the Barrow couple charged in the beating death of a Fairbanks man at a local hotel.
39-year-old Abraham Stein and his girlfriend, 31-year-old Dominique Vasquez, stand accused of killing Wesley Lord at the extended stay hotel. Both appeared this afternoon in Fairbanks Superior Court. An affidavit states Vasquez was in the hotel room with Lord and a few others. When Vasquez was caught in bed with Lord, she asked the others in the room to tell her boyfriend that he raped her, Stein then allegedly beat Lord to death on the hotel floor. The bystanders admitted to watching the 5 to 10 minute beating, further stating Vasquez held Lord's mouth so he could not be heard. Both Stein and Vasquez are being held without bail. Trial for their case was set for March.
Charges were dismissed this morning against a former Fairbanks police officer accused of attempting to drive a vehicle intoxicated. 45-year-old Christopher DeLeon was charged with DUI and a single count of fourth-degree weapons misconduct, both Class A misdemeanors. District Court Judge Alice Mary Rasley dismissed both charges. Rasley questioned the report by the Alaska State Troopers because it never stated DeLeon was actually inside the vehicle or behind the wheel. Furthermore, the judge stated the firearm found was not located on DeLeon but inside the console of the vehicle. DeLeon's attorney said he was pleased to see the charges dismissed.
It's pretty typical. A lot of times folks are charged with DUI. We rush to a judgment that they've committed a crime when in fact they might not have. And I think that that's pretty, it's a phenomenon in this community that happens a lot. And with a little bit of reason, sometimes police don't do their job completely. Sometimes they file complaints before they have all the evidence. That's fine, but charges just shouldn't be brought then. Like, it's inefficient. I feel like they should have their investigation done already, submit their complaint, submit their report, and the police should be done with it and not moving on. They shouldn't be doing investigation afterwards, which you find time after time after time is the police are doing investigation after a case is over.
A Fairbanks man who was the subject of a near 10-hour standoff last year will serve time in jail. Michael Brocht appeared in Fairbanks Superior Court this afternoon and pleaded guilty to reduced charges as part of a plea deal with the state. Brocht will serve 32 months for the lesser charges that included failure to stop and escape. Brocht has been in custody since the armed standoff in front of Justice Store on Chena Pump Road. As part of his plea deal, Brocht will also have to pay restitution of over $3,000 in one of his cases and be placed on probation upon his release from jail.
The 29th Alaska Legislature was gavelled into session today in Juneau as both the House and Senate held opening floor sessions. The Alaska House session is expected to be focused heavily on the state's budget deficit, which is projected to be at least $3.5 billion next year. This is the first of two regular sessions of the 29th Legislature. 8 new members in the House took oaths of office today, including Representative Adam Wool of Fairbanks. There are 2 new members in the Senate. The GOP retains control of both chambers. Newly elected Senate President Kevin Meyer of Anchorage addressed his colleagues this afternoon, citing the diversity of the Senate and the will to work together for Alaska.
And one thing I can assure Alaskans is that we will respect each other and our differences and our different opinions. And we are committed to the state of Alaska. We are loyal to the state of Alaska. We're going to do the very best we can for the state of Alaska.
Fairbanks police have arrested and charged 2 more men in a string of armed robberies. Brandon Charles and Devin McMillan appeared this afternoon in Fairbanks Superior Court. Now, both pleaded not guilty to charges, including armed robbery. Their alleged accomplice, Keith Downing, has been in custody since the robberies. Police say they found Downing's dog tags at the scene of one of the crimes. Victims reported that 2 other males were involved in the robberies and described their vehicle, including the license plate. Police then traced that vehicle to Charles, a Fort Wainwright soldier residing at the barracks. Trial for their case was set for March.
All right, when we come back, the commander of the 168th Refueling Wing was the guest speaker at the Chamber of Commerce luncheon today.
Also, in our health report, we tell you why it would be a good idea to get up and moving around at your job. Those stories are next. Stay with us. Welcome back. Alaska Governor Bill Walker today announced the appointment of 3 new cabinet members. Chris Ledick of Unalaska will serve as the Department of Commerce, Community and Economic Development Commissioner. Ronald Taylor was tapped for Department of Corrections Commissioner, while Sam Cotton will serve as the Department of Fish and Game Commissioner. Cotton has been the acting Fish and Game Commissioner for the past 2 months. He's a former member of the Alaska Legislature and has served on a number of fishery boards. Taylor has worked for the DOC for the past 7 years, serving as a deputy commissioner since 2012. Laddick has been the city manager of Unalaska for the past 14 years, where he oversaw over $130 million worth of infrastructure construction in the town.
The mission statement of the 168th Air Refueling Wing of the Alaska Air National Guard is to be guardians of the last frontier, providing global air refueling and space warning for the state and nation. Today, the commander of the 168th Air Refueling Wing, Colonel Mark Hedlund, was the guest speaker at the weekly Chamber of Commerce luncheon. Colonel Hedlund has command and control over 13 subordinate assigned units within the Pacific Air Force Theater. The commander stated that the wing was very involved in supporting Middle East conflicts with people, planes, and equipment.
Well, right now we're typically deploying to IUD, and we have one coming up here at the end of the month. And so again, we're supporting the war effort over in Afghanistan and all over Iraq and that whole CENTCOM community. There's a huge air refueling requirement there, so it's very, very busy. And we're sending over several aircraft here at the end of the month to join in on that.
And we'll have more about the 168th Refueling Wing tomorrow on our military report.
Volunteers and artists are hard at work carving ice and creating a variety of sculptures in the time for the 2015 BP World Ice Art Championships. A culturally diverse team of ice sculptors has 1 month to make the bulk of the Ice Alaska Park before it opens on February 23rd. The volunteers have been running heavy machinery. Ice Championships Chairman Dick Brickley says there are some new attractions in the mix this year for both kids and adults. There will be a new playground featuring a boardable pirate ship made of ice, joining the many other slides and icy rides available at the event. The Ice Alaska Park even plans to have a giant ice lens that is said to be large and powerful enough to focus the sun's rays and start a fire.
Take a 12-foot by 12-foot block of ice and we'll make a lens out of it that will actually start a fire where the sun coming through the lens will actually burn a piece of plywood and quickly. I mean, it's an amazing project. We bought special straps just to lift the ice up because a 12-foot by 12-foot piece of ice is a lot of weight, over 20-some thousand pounds.
If you sit at a desk all day in your job, it could have an adverse impact on your health, even if you exercise regularly. Monty Bowen has details now in this week's health report.
You had most likely heard before that sitting too much can cause medical problems, but a new Canadian study finds sitting too much can set you up for some serious health risks, even if you're getting regular amounts of exercise.
If you exercise, let's say, vigorously for 1 hour, which is fantastic, you should not count that you are fully protected if the rest of your day you spend completely inactive.
Researchers at the Toronto Rehabilitation Institute reviewed nearly 50 studies assessing sedentary behavior and exercise in adults. They found more than half of the average person's waking life involves stationary activities, like watching television, working at a computer, or commuting. They conclude that sitting too much was associated with harmful health outcomes like heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, regardless of physical activity.
The more active you are, the less risk factors you have for major illnesses.
Researchers say exercising 1 hour per day should not give us the peace of mind to remain seated for the remaining 23.
Put a reminder every 45 minutes or maybe an hour to kind of stand up for a few minutes, just stretch, just walk around, or if there are commercials, just use any opportunity to interrupt those long periods of sitting.
This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Health Report is brought to you by the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic, located in the Medical Dental Arts Building. Call 456-7768.
Speaking of getting up and being active, Joe Cook is up next with a player profile in today's Nanook Corner.
That's right. He's also got results from the Nanook ski team's recent outing. Stay with us. Sports is next. Let's exercise.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here with your local Tuesday Sports. We start with the player profile piece in today's Nanook Corner. He's making history just by playing college basketball. Here's more on UAF's Ruben Silvas.
Ruben's a class act guy, one of the best teammates that we have. He's always looking out for other guys, trying to help them out, especially the younger guys.
First-year transfer guard Ruben Silvas is also an historic figure back home in Tucson, Arizona. Silvas is the first person of the Basquiat Yaqui tribe to play college basketball. He wasn't even being recruited, but he stood out to Alaska head coach Mick Durham while playing for Tohono O'odham Community College.
We were up in Seattle, and he was watching my teammate play. And I had a good game that night, so he got my number from my JUCO coach. And that night he texted me. He's like, I'm from UAF, University of Alaska Fairbanks. I was like, what? Somebody's recruited me? I just got happy, and it's like, all your hard work paid off.
You know, when the ceremony, when they did the signing and they did it on the reservation there outside Tucson, Arizona, it was a huge deal. And so I think that moment I realized, hey, this is pretty special. And then also for Ruben to be the first in his family to go to college, those type things. So it's cool to give kids opportunities that they may have not been able to afford to do.
Silvis has been embraced by the local Native community, but he admits feeling pressure to not only represent his own tribe, but Native Americans from all over the country.
I had a couple Native members come up here, and they're like, we're from New Mexico, but we stay up here, we came to watch you play. And make us proud, you're doing good for the Native culture. And I was like, thank you, like, it's a big honor. There's a lot of pressure coming from the tribe and everybody who supported me, but at the end of the day, you just gotta play basketball, and that's how I look at it.
Silvis has established himself as one of the GNAC's best in a short period of time. He's fourth in the conference, shooting 60% from the field, and third in free throw shooting at 86%. He also leads the Nooks in rebounding, 5.7 per game, which is 10th in the GNAC. His best game was a 34-point, 11-rebound, 5-assist performance in a win against Simon Fraser. With those stats, he's making his family and tribe proud. Look for more from Silvis in the future.
Nanook Corner, brought to you by Sports Medicine Fairbanks.
In Cable, Wisconsin, Nanook skiers were no less than top 30 finishers in the Telemark Chase Distance Race Series on Sunday. Logan Hahnemann placed 6th in the 15K in about 43 minutes to lead the Nanook men's team. Jonas Loeffler was 8th, and Alexander Eckert finished 10th. On the women's side, senior Allison McFeeters leads the Nooks. She finished in 12th place at 36 minutes in the 10K race, while newcomer Ann Tyne Marksett was 15th. Nicole Bates, the sophomore, finished 22nd. UAF skiers will have a break before the CCSA Championships on Valentine's Day weekend in February. For more Nanook skiers and other local talent, they were top 5 finishers in this past weekend's Besh Cup. Lydia Blanchett and Taryn Hunt-Smith of APU, they finished 1-2 in Sunday's Classic Mass Start 5K. They flip-flopped in Saturday's sprints at Birch Hill. UAF's Hannah Stevens, she placed 4th. And for the men, Mike Fehrenbach won the 10K race for the Alaska Nanooks. Hunter Wonders was 2nd, and West Valley's Trenton Sayer takes 3rd place. There was more high school basketball going on this past weekend. Other than the Joe T. Classic, the Hutchinson Hawks and Delta Junction Huskies met in a Aurora Conference clash on Saturday. Considered one of the better conference rivalries, Delta denied Hutch a trip to state last year. 2 of their last regular season meetings came on buzzer beaters. This game was close throughout. Delta's Micah Helkin, he scored a game-high 27 points, including 16 in the 4th. He was coming off a 35-point game against Allison. The Huskies, though, they would force overtime, but the Hawks using an 11-3 run to pull away in overtime. Morgan John had 15 points for Hutch, and Daniel Page added 14 as the Hawks win 70-62 in overtime over the Huskies. And in the girls' game, Hutchinson, they win by 50 points, defeating the Huskies 61-11. Katie Peterson scores a game-high 22 points. That's back-to-back conference wins for Hutch, who beat Valdez 39-36 on Friday night. And here are some high school hockey results from over the weekend. Hutchinson, they shut down Houston 8-0 on Saturday in a rematch of last year's state title game. Holden McCullough, 4 goals for Hutch, and Max Heineken, he had 29 saves in the win. The West Valley Wolfpack blow out Juneau 13-1 on Saturday's senior night game for the Wolfpack. Stasha Skorowski had a hat trick to lead 8 different goal scorers for West Valley. Delta Junction, they remain undefeated in Greatland play, sweeping the Tri-Valley Kings 9-1 on Friday and 5-1 on Saturday. The Huskies are 6-0. Also in the Greatland, Monroe wins big 8-0 over the Glen Allen Panthers. Ryan Michelle led the Rams with 2 goals and 3 assists. Nate Jankowski made 20 saves for the shutout. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into our Tuesday night newscast. Time to take a look at the weather. Mike Schultz with you once again, and it was a very quiet day across the interior, but kind of chilly too. Temperatures didn't rise above the 0 mark, so the cold temperatures are going to be moving out of the picture, though. We'll tell you why in just a little bit. Our photograph today, this one's sent in by Ricky Homchick, and the solstice sunset. It took place a while back, but boy, the colors are beautiful. Once again, it's a postcard shot. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Our almanac looks like this, 9 degrees below 0 currently. Our high day 4 degrees below 0, the overnight low 15 below. Record high 45, that was in 1961. 65 below, wow, in 1906. Sunrise and sunset, not quite 5 hours and 45 minutes. That's a gain of 6 minutes from yesterday. On the satellite and radar, most of the energy is once again over the eastern side of the state, especially over southeast Alaska. They are getting pummeled with rain and wind and flooding conditions too. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. Across the rest of the state, you can see for the most part a little bit of shower activity moving across the Alaska Range, but nothing really substantial. And over the western side, things are clearing out very nicely there. On the map today, again, the rain is the big news over southeast Alaska, and just lots of rain there, lots of flooding going on. And over the rest of the state, for the most part, pretty quiet. A few showers around Kodiak. Sunshine in the Anchorage area, 17 degrees though, pretty chilly. Up and down the west coast, temperatures also very cool. 3 degrees below at Bethel, but Barrow is 6 degrees below, and Fort Yukon 1 above. So cool air over most of the state. Now the lower 48, just the opposite, very nice and mild across the Pacific Northwest. Seattle at 50 degrees, 61 in Seattle, or I should say San Francisco. Denver, 43. Pretty warm, and some snow shower activity across the Central Plains into the Minneapolis area, 31 degrees there. Dallas up to 70 degrees. Also warm temperatures over the deep south, and some snow shower activity over the northeast. All right, our satellite and radar. Again, the pink indicating where the snow activity is moving across the Great Lakes and the northern plains, and over the west coast, not too much going on there. But over the next few days, it looks like more cold temperatures and snow are going to be moving in across places like Albuquerque and Amarillo, with 6 to 12 inches expected in those areas through Thursday night. That's a lot of snow, especially for Amarillo, Texas. The overall jet stream, once again, helping to guide that cold air, moving it right across parts of Texas, and then heavy rain expected across the deep south, maybe some flooding going on there around the Atlanta, Georgia, and New Orleans area. All right, back to Alaska for tomorrow in the northern sections. Partly cloudy skies at Nome, scattered snow showers for Barrow and Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at, for the most part, flurries at Healy and Delta, and maybe some scattered snow showers in the Fairbanks area. Over southeast Alaska, once again, heavy rains and potential flooding for Juneau and Ketchikan. Both areas receiving very, very heavy amounts of rain, and that is not expected to change for the next couple days. So it looks like some situations going on there. We'll have to keep you advised of that. Southwest part of the state, partly cloudy skies will be the rule for Bethel and Cold Bay, and also at Kodiak. And over the south central regions, we're looking at mostly sunny skies to cover the entire region from Anchorage right on down to Homer, 34 degrees for the high there. All right, time once again for our kids' weather. They took a day off yesterday, but they're back with us, and this week we're talking with the kids from Tuckasuk Brown Elementary School. Here's a young man with a short story, but an interesting road trip he took with his family.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm in Miss Fennell's 5th grade class at Tuckasuk Brown. This is my weather story. I was on my way to Kenai. It was snow all over the ground, but when you looked up, there was the northern lights, and you could see the mountains through Denali.
Well, Nick, thanks a lot for that story, and thanks again to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. And tomorrow night, a young lady will be here with a very nice picture she drew flying back in the Fairbanks area. Here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. Kind of cold, 12 degrees below, partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow's forecast, we'll be looking at 2 degrees below, with flurries becoming snow showers by afternoon. And the extended forecast, as you can see here, maybe some snow shower activity on Thursday and Friday, then mainly just partly cloudy skies through the rest of the 5-day period. And temperatures will continue to be above normal for this time of year. Daytime highs in the single digits, overnight lows in the single digits below, rising up to 10 degrees by Sunday night.
Good news.
Yeah, well,
it just continues.
It's just average January temperatures right there.
No. That's way above.
0 for the overnight, for the daytime,
for daytime
highs,
high. Okay, so we're
18 below at night.
Woo! I misspoke. That's so we're still above.
We are above.
Yes,
okay.
we are.
Very nice. And so we'll continue and get warmer by the weeks out.
Long range is not showing any signs of change. Maybe a little chance of snow for Thursday and Friday. That's about it.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Awesome.
That will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, the IRS warned that budget cuts could mean delays in tax refunds this year. That's next with Brian Williams.
Isn't that wonderful news?
I don't like that news at all.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
Okay, from all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.
Good night.